How you guys going there? This is I believe the second YouTube video for the first ebook, Spiritual Journals. This one is called The Conscious One Has Discipline. Basically, the Conscious One Has Discipline is in regards to you having discipline over your life, but through the conscious awareness, through your conscious mind, not through the subconscious programming that we've got going on. So the Conscious One Has Discipline is always more about your spiritual awakening or sort of growing up, being more aware of life and learning, and just being more of a, if you want to say in terms of spiritual communities, being a co-creator, being a creator in your life is more about where this comes from. But this one tackles more about interference. This one sort of goes into the law of non-interference and understanding about how that works, not only for yourself, but then from other people's perspective. So first off, yourself is more about non-interference and interfering in your own life. Interfering in, I suppose, what is naturally right for you, or paying attention to your intuition, your heart, paying attention to your awareness and stuff like that. Non-interference in your life is more about maybe an overbalance with your ego, sort of pushing a little bit too hard towards things, when you can be more naturally sort of going through the flow of life rather than sort of fighting circumstances and things of that nature that don't even matter. Understand that what you fight to get, you must fight to keep. So that's something that's really important, that you'll be going on for the rest of your life doing that. And this is when it comes into the world being more competitive and things of this nature. Non-interference in terms of other people interfering in your lives, I mean, what you've got to understand, this is basically a crime. This is a spiritual crime, interfering in other people's lives, where you are stealing or taking, interfering, annoying, harassing other people in their lives and things of that nature. But always understand that what you sow is what you reap, or karma, which the book goes into as well, basically that it is going to go like kind. What you sow is what you reap. It's going to come back to you at the end of the day. It doesn't matter, what you know, who you know, how far up you are up the ladder. It doesn't matter. There's always a bigger person that is always higher. There's always someone who knows more, who has more power, more skill. It just doesn't matter. So the reason I bring that up is that don't get too concerned about other people interfering in your lives. Understand what the lessons that you need to learn personally and release yourself from that. But also don't understand that fighting isn't necessarily a bad thing. You just have to know how to do it in the right way. When I talk about fighting and what you fight to get, you must fight to keep, think of it in terms of maybe more of a peaceful warrior, or the right cause, the right purpose, the right intention. Fighting sort of brings the wrong connotation, in terms of the competitive greed and selfish nature. But this is what basically this book is about. It goes into peace, basically sort of bringing that peaceful, so we can move that into being a peaceful warrior and stuff, but having some more of a peaceful understanding about your own life and your own existence, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the threats or the fears or any of that sort of stuff that is going on in your life at this present time. The Conscious One Has Discipline, again, is a series of ebooks. What I want to say though is I want to encourage people to start their own spiritual journals. I want to encourage people to start writing their own journals from their own life to build a solid, like a spiritual foundation for themselves. I want people to be more of a, if you want to say, a co-creator, working with God or working with the universe. There is a saying that everything, praise everything depends on God and do as everything depends on you. It becomes like an equal balance, a harmonic balance between the two. So just make sure that you are living your life on your terms and what feels right with you. If there is a bit of stress or things of this nature, you've got to understand that you're pushing something that is a little bit too hard, or rephrase that, you're pushing something that maybe you shouldn't be pushing. You're creating stress in your life for what reason, you have to find out, and being able to clean that up and release that within yourself. Your spiritual journals, in terms of creating your own spiritual journals, make sure that they come from your own heart, your own awareness. Don't listen to me, don't listen to anybody else. Just trust in your own intuition, what feels right for you in terms of building your own spiritual journals. In terms of themes and stuff like that, people can use, poems, phrases, quotes, Bible things, Torah, you can move more into your whole thing about what your life has been like that particular week. What issues are you working on that particular week? Some skills that you can use in terms of synchronicities and things of that nature to show you some of the themes that maybe you need to work on to clean up and all this sort of stuff. But always make sure you have the right intention, because if you don't have the right intention, again, what you sow is what you reap. So always make sure that you're sending out the right vibe, the right things, and keeping yourself in more of a balance, a being with your own life, just to be yourself by getting to know more of yourself. And so spiritual journals, building a spiritual foundation, is more about a letting go, a releasing, a cleaning up, and building more of a solid understanding about life. Don't be afraid if they're raw or a little, when I say raw, that they're not necessarily edited or published or polished well. Mine are not necessarily like that. I've just made them more socially sensitive, but you have to understand that you do your thing. I want everybody to understand that to do their own thing. Sometimes we look to other people to give us guidance and advice and stuff like that, when maybe we need to trust more in our own heart what feels right and what feels wrong. So this is where spiritual journals are at. Actually, another thing too I'd like to throw out there is maybe throw in a name for your spiritual journal, in terms of when artists or musicians have their own artist name, or authors have a pen name. Have a spiritual name or a creative name. But always make sure when you take on these names that if you take on a spiritual name or some sort of name, that you understand the energy behind that particular name and take responsibility for that. That's something that's really important. Have fun with your journals. I mean, again, this isn't a masculine or a feminine thing. It's just about maturity and growing up, and just understanding a better way of living for yourself. Okay, not for other people. This is really important here. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at this. I could go on for a while, and I'll leave my email address and link to the spiritual journal down below. But with the email address, feel free to send any emails in regards to maybe your own spiritual successes or failures or questions, as well as your own religious ones as well. I wish you all the best. God bless.